So in this video, which I've done for Ollie, this is Ollie's gaming rig. I just thought I'd go through the basics of putting together his machine. He initially gave me a budget of £1,000, which was a lot less than the last one I did, which was based on an Intel i7 with an NVidia 2080 Super. But this one was all AMD. It's got an AMD Ryzen 5 3600X with an AMD Radeon card, and the performance is better than that, really good. Will support Steam, VR, any high-end games, so really good. So very surprised, first full AMD build. I'm an AMD convert now. So anyway, watch the video, and if you find this useful, if you've got any questions, let me know. But principally this is for Ollie, just so you can see how his machine went together, and maybe in the future he'll have a go at building his own. So hope you find this useful. Any comments, let me know. Full parts lists will be available in the description section. Okay, so we've got today's build. This one, it's a mid-tier gaming PC. Budget was about £1,000, about £1,023 in total actually. That includes VAT and delivery. Here you've got a nice cooler master case, put all the links to what it is, nice tempered glass screen, all the compartments to make it look tidy. We have got 500GB M.2 drive from Crucial. We've got 16 gigs of Ballistix gaming RAM. We've got a 1TB BarraCuda for storing all the games. This one obviously will have all the operating system in it. We have a Ryzen 5. And this one is the I'll put the links in, but I think it's the 3600X. We've got the Ps5 TOMAHAWK Max. We've got an AMD Radeon 5700 XT graphics card, and we have a non-modular, again keeping the budget down, VS650 from Corsair to actually keep it all together. So there you go, those are the bits for Ollie's gaming PC, ready, and all that just needs to go into that case. It's going to be running Windows 10, and I've already got that downloaded on a USB stick, ready to go. So here's the motherboard. What we can see here is this is the where the CPU socket goes. You'll see a lever here. If you see there's a slight retaining on it, so it won't move up, but if you push it out, it will lift up, and all that does is it pushes the thing that holds the pins. Now you'll see an alignment arrow here on this corner here, and what you have to do is you have to source the little triangle that's on this particular corner, and that tells you how it's going to be lined up. So obviously these pins are very delicate, and this is probably the most scary bit of it, is make sure you don't damage any of those pins, because this is your CPU. So we very carefully align the holes. And that is now nicely located in the holes, and all you do is you push that down there, push that lever across, and there you have. Okay, so there it is, seated in, there's no movement there, and that is your socket line. So the next thing, very simply, is to put the memory sticks. In this case we've got the Crucial Ballistix. These are issued as matched pairs, and very straightforward in that because you've got 4 slots here, this can totally potentially take 4 sticks. We've only got 2 in this, so you don't need any more than 16 gig. You will see that this tab here lines up with that tab where there should be only one way of putting it in, and then what we need to do is put them in opposing on there. So if you've got one here, and then you'll have one there. So we'll put that in there, and you'll see that that does not line up this way around, which tells you that it needs to be that way around. And all you have to do, and these are quite firm, is push those in until they click, and you'll see those all come into place, and that is your RAM in place. With the second stick, exactly the same. Make sure it's the right way around. Push them into the slot, and And there you go, that is your RAM and your CPU installed, ready to go. That's simple. So in this example, you'll see that this has got the clip-on type cooler, and in this case we've got the standard AMD cooler that comes with it. It's already got the thermal applied, and it's got a slightly different mount to this one, so we need to remove these brackets before we can put that one in place. Okay, so that is the standard clips taken off. You can see we'll keep that for later just in case we need spares, and then it's just a question of putting on the AMD cooler, which is this one here, and you'll see this thermal paste tends to be applied on these modern ones. This is going to be perfectly good for what this machine is going to be doing, and you'll see that there's the retaining plate behind is already suitable, so it's just a question of lining these up. You can see it'll only go one way, and then what you need to do is make sure that when we put it in place that the cable is going to go on the header board there, which is where it gets its power. So what we need to do is just line that up here. And use the screwdriver just to tension them up. Important to make sure that you torsion them up corner to corner to make sure that there's an even load on the chips so we don't break anything. These have got spring retention nuts on them anyway. Make sure we don't over tighten them. Equal all the way around, don't have to over tighten them. And then you have got your header, and then that goes onto the board here, and this will only go on one way. Bit of cable management later for that. And that is the fan in place. We've got the chip in place, we've got the RAM in place. Next on is the M.2 drive. Okay, so the next thing to do is to fit the M.2 drive to here, and you'll see that this is designed to have a number of sizes, and there's a post here which is easily just screwed out with your finger. Move that to the position you want, then you get your M.2 drive. This is a 5GB Crucial one. It slots into here, and then as you can see it sits on the post there. And we need to get this little screw here, fit that into there. You'll see that now sits horizontally, and there's airflow under that because these things do sometimes get hot. And there you go, you've got your hard disk installed, you've got your RAM installed, you've got your CPU, and you've got your cooler, and that's the motherboard pretty much built while it's out of the box. I find it's easy to do that. Now that is ready to go in to the case, and all we need to do is now work out the stand points in that case. One of the things you've got to do when you get one of these things is actually read the effing manual. Most of the time it will be obvious because they colour code these slots. And these memory sticks are in alternate shots, and you see that when I first did it I put them in the wrong slot. Just goes to show that even if you've done this a few times you can get it wrong. You've got 4 sticks of course, it's not a problem, but in this case it was basically put them in that slot and then that slot, and not as I had it before, so be careful of that. There you can see the M.2 drive is in place and ready to go. Now we need to mount it into this case. See that there's markings on there in terms of how you lay it out. There's already stand-up posts with the standard sizing. Your case will come with a bag of bits like that, with ties and all the screws to screw into the standoffs. Your motherboard will come with I/O shield, and what that will do is cover that bit that goes into the case, and all you need to do is snap it into place in there before we put the motherboard in. Okay, so that is the motherboard into the case. Basically what you have to see, you can see these various screw holes that are around the case. They're effectively to retain it. These are the specific points. You can see I put that one there. I've got one in the top corner there, and it's just a question of making sure these are lined up. Just takes a bit of movement around, but it's perfectly lined up with the I/O shield, and then we just need to screw it down. So that's it, just check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just one missing. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got the graphics card that's got to come in. This is the 5700 XT. Comes in thin paper there. So we'll get that out. And before we do that, what we've got to do is it's got to go in that slot there, which means you've got to remove one of these. And depending on the size of the graphics card, you might need to take up 2 slots. So let's take out those. So that means that the graphics card will then come out of these slots that you can plug in your monitor and everything. Again, just a simple screw retains those in. You'll notice on these things that they will come with a protector for the connector there. So there's a slot in it. You will also see that when it comes to here, there's also a slot in here, so you can see where it's going to line up. And then these things need to be pushed back because that will lock in place once they're in, and that will tell you, so you now got the 2 spaces removed so that we can get this in. And it will go nicely in there. Okay, so here we are going to put in the graphics card. You'll see that that slot there will line up with that slot there. What to do is line it up. Okay, so then we've got the card in place. Let's see, you always test for alignment. You can see that that one needs to stay and these 2 need to be removed. So now we just need to screw those back in with the screws that it came with. Okay, and there we've got a card that is ready to go. Okay, so with that bit, we've got all the major bits in. The next bit is to put in the power supply and hook everything up to in place. So we've got power connectors for the motherboard down here, and obviously the graphics card here. So this on the back of the case is, see the motherboard is in place there. This is where you're going to put your hard drives. Any modern system just has these clip out trays. You'll see on the side of that there's a couple of pins. You don't need to screw them in, you basically just need to put in your BarraCuda, clip them into the case like that, and then they should just slide in. There you go, and there you've got your disc ready to go and wired up, and this is just a spare retainer, as you can see. Slides in there, push it in, should you need to add one, and then it is ready to go. Just need to put the power supply in, which goes in there, and wire it up, and then all these wires from the various controls are already on the case. We just need to figure out where they go onto the motherboard. You see a lot of spaghetti around here. This is where it gets a bit tricky wiring all those bits up. Takes the time, do a bit of cable management, but the majority of it is looking quite good. On the side you can see graphics card in place, all ready to go. Okay, so this is where the power supply unit comes in. You can see I've got a Corsair VS650. This is not a modular unit. As you can see, it slides in to the side there, and then it's just a question of sliding it in, which is a difficult one now. And then you will see that once it goes here, you have to line it up with a number of those screws there, and that is your power supply unit in place, ready to connect up these to the ones that you'll need anyway. Okay. So when you've got your power supply unit in, it's just a question of identifying the connectors. And again, I'm doing this without looking at any of the instructions, which you can see has done well before. Then it's a question of routing these sensibly. And you'll see that the CPU power supply I've routed through here. The one for the graphics card is going through the bottom there, and then this one is going to go through that hole there. And when we get to the other side, you'll see that effectively the CPU power supply is going up there. The main connector to the motherboard needs to go in there, and then you've got your twin ports on your graphics card that go on there, and obviously routing it through these nice little grommets and holes just reduces the amount of wires that go all over the place and keeps it very neat. These are sort of very kindly provided so that you can get a nice clean finish once you get everything connected up. So let's get those connected up. We'll have a look at the final result. Okay, so then we've got top cable connected, PCIe slots in. Just bend that out of the way, it looks quite neat. Then you've got the main motherboard connectors come through that hole in the end, and that's looking pretty neat. We've got loads of spare space because you could actually put your water cooler tower there, I suppose, or extra drives, but we are not going to do that because we put that in the bay at the bottom. Power supply is hidden by this bit here, as all the cables. So as you can see, it looks pretty clean so far. So the only thing to do now is to brush up with all the connectors in terms of all the IOs for the front of the case. So we'll do that quickly, and then we're not far off from powering this up. Let's see if we can get a post. There you go. We've got everything working. We've got RGB fans working. It's all working nice. Look at that. And then it's posting. All I need to do is add the operating system, tidy up the cables. That is the hard bit done, all assembled and working well. Looking pretty damn good. That is the back cable managed. The RGB controller there. Our cables neatly taped up along there. Lots of RGB cables tied up as good as possible. And that is ready for the side panel to go back on.